Hey guys, Jay up here, and today I've got a pretty cool gameplay for you, something that very few people have actually done. But before I get into that, my setup is the MSMCU, Suppressor, and Fast Mags. My perks I'm using are Ghost, Scavenger, Fast Hands, and Extreme Conditioning. And the equipment I'm using is a Bouncing Betty and a Tactical Insertion. Now the thing that makes this gameplay so special is the fact that I went 56-1, I went through 5 Orbital VSATs, and I also got the Nuclear Medal at the end. Now I keep receiving messages about this Black Ops 2 nuke that apparently another commentator actually made a video about, and he has really good editing skills, but the fact is that is false. Now what the Nuclear Medal is you have to get 30 kills with your gun without dying, and I actually managed to do that in this gameplay at the very end. And I've got to say that it's a pretty cool thing to actually go for if you're going to do it. Now, it's not something that you're always going to go to try for. I mean, it really doesn't have the benefits that, say, a Moab or a nuke from MW2 has. I mean, it really is a cool accomplishment to have, but it's really not something that you would always want to try and go for. I mean, I always went for the Mob and MW3. Nukes were sometimes fun to get in MW2, especially if you were down and you wanted to end the game and come back and win. But in this game, the Nuclear Medal has an awesome player card that you actually get once achieving this, and it's really cool. I'm rocking that player card right now. It kind of has like a skull on a nuked city. It's pretty cool, and you'll see that near the end. But the fact is, what helped me get there was these score streaks. I'm using the Counter UAV, Hellstorm Missile, and Orbital VSAT. And I've mentioned this setup before. It's awesome, especially if you want to run through the loop. After I had died and I've got into my second round of domination, I was literally going through this loop, I believe 4 times after my first death. And it's just an extremely powerful loop that you can use. First off, you're blocking the enemy's UAV. They can't tell where you are. I mean, you're already using Ghost, but the fact is, if you stay still for even too long, you'll start showing up on radar. So using that counter UAV, you can block all that UAV spam that's on the enemy team. And the Hellstorm Missile will be good for that objective gameplay. If you want to try to get the enemy off the flag, Hellstorm Missile is perfect for this. And you see me use it a couple times in this gameplay to help keep the enemy pinned back in their spawn or whatnot. And then the Orbital VSAT is just an overall team player type of score streak. It helps your team know where everybody is at on the map. It can't be shot down. It can only be countered by the counter UAV. But at that point, if you actually have Orbital VSATs going up almost non-stop, there's no way that the enemy team can actually get enough kills or whatnot to actually counter it. Now, as you just saw, that's a paragraph of non-stop assists that I get, and that's actually what helps you go through the loop. I get that a couple times in this game because my teammates are just completely dominating the enemy team the whole time, as well as I am. I'd try to stay around the spawn, and it's good that I actually have the MSMC with the Suppressor and Fast Mags. Now, this is my only death that I actually got this game by a quickscoper that during the game I actually saw him coming towards me, and I didn't think he was actually looking at me when I got quickscoped, but apparently I did. But quickscoping, I gotta say, it's more difficult than Modern Warfare 3, and that's a good thing, but it still is annoying. And the fact is that it shouldn't be like that. I usually have to run the Remington on smaller maps if I am going up against quickscopers. That is basically the only thing that I can do to counter them. There's nothing else. But the Remington is probably the most powerful shotgun in this game. It's probably more powerful than most of the submachine guns, to tell you the truth. And I love running the Remington on Plaza. I think that's really the only gun you can run on that map for really any mode, so I really enjoy it. And also, one of the maps that I'm starting to actually enjoy a lot more, because I usually hated it in the end, was Meltdown. The current map that I'm actually playing on, I did not really like towards the beginning. I've heard some people say it's Launch's cousin in a weird layout, just with updated graphics, things like that. And in a sense, I could agree with it. The big area over to the left that has these columns coming down from the ceiling could be like the launch pad from Launch, and it just seems like it's built in the same fashion that Launch was. So I do enjoy it now, especially after getting the Nuclear Medal on it. I more than likely will start playing it a little bit more, but I really don't see the point in Black Ops 2 running all these high kill streaks like Swarm, Dogs, everything like that. And I guess it's because I'm still used to the whole thing from Modern Warfare 3, running Specialist, not being used to all the different score streaks and kill streaks that one can actually put up. And the fact is, I enjoy getting more gun kills. I bet you if I was actually running higher score streaks like Swarm, Dogs, VTOL Warship, or even the Lone Star, I probably could have easily had a 100 kill game. But instead, I was only running one score streak that actually could kill the enemy players. Mainly, I was running the counter UAV and the orbital VSAT, which, in my opinion, I still probably will enjoy this more often. I actually unlocked the orbital VSAT permanently with one of my prestige tokens, and I don't regret that. I think it's one of the better things, and almost immediately after unlocking it, I actually got the orbital VSAT at a lower level. So I'm going to enjoy the orbital VSAT. I really enjoyed it in Black Ops, knowing where all the other people were. So I think in Black Ops 2 it's probably going to be one of my more heavily used score streaks, and I would heavily advise y'all to actually use these score streak setups. It will lead you to great games and just complete domination of the enemy team just by knowing the fact of where they're at all times and not letting them know where you're at because of the counter UAVs. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was bouncing Bettys. Now, this is a controversial kind of thing on Black Ops 2 at the moment, and I feel that bouncing Bettys are really good when you're trying to prevent campers. What I normally use it for is if I'm going to go clear out a camper that's been there for a good 30 seconds to a minute of the game, just waiting for people to come by. When I get there, I'm going to kill him and immediately throw down a bouncing Betty just in case he comes back, because eventually he will learn that if he keeps going back to that position, he's more than likely going to die. That or he's going to wise up, put on engineer and a black hat and take it out through the wall. But the chances of that actually happening are kind of low, and I really haven't had that many people actually do that. It's mainly to prevent campers from just chilling in a spot and just kind of being a pain to everyone else in the game. So that's usually only when I run bouncing Bettys. Now, this specific class that I'm using was a class that I decided to just mess around with. I normally don't run classes like this. Typically what I use is I put 3 attachments on a weapon, load up on perks, and then go into a game. But I finally decided to mess around, try to take my class back to previous Call of Duty titles, that you could not have multiple perks unless you were running Specialist, and your equipment, stuff like that. And it turns out it actually worked out pretty well. I didn't have a pistol, but I did have the equipment I needed and the right attachments on my weapon. And I think that the suppressor and fast mags is more than likely the best attachments to put on the MSMC. Right now, I'm actually enjoying the TAR with quick draw and a silencer, and also the M27 with the suppressor, reflex sight, and the fast mags. I think that's a really good combo to run. It's a very accurate weapon. Now, if you want to switch out the suppressor for a foregrip to make it even more accurate by reducing the recoil, you can do that, and it will actually help you out quite a bit. And I find that it's a very, very good gun to use when playing Raid, especially when you're trying to lock down the B domination site. Picking off people across the map is so easy, especially when you have those snipers camping in those windows waiting for people to come near the objective. It's very easy to use the M27 to counteract them. Also on that map, it's kind of cool with the PDW, but Meltdown is probably a map you want to stick with assault rifles, some machine guns, maybe a sniper if you wish. I know that a couple snipers on my team were doing very well, especially since you just saw in the kill feed, FaZe Cross getting a triple headshot kill feed, and I think that was pretty cool. I'm glad that I got that in the game. But Meltdown is one of those maps that you might actually benefit a lot from sniping. There are some lines of sights that are perfect for snipers, especially overlooking B domination. You can actually snipe across the way to take out people as they're rushing it, or you can go to the far right side of the map if you are starting at C domination, I believe, looking back down, and you will actually see the people kind of rushing, and it makes for a great point. Another thing that I wanted to touch on was skill-based matchmaking. I've seen on Twitter for the past week and a half that everyone is complaining about skill-based matchmaking. They want to play for fun, things like that, and I really haven't noticed it that much. I know that the priority of when finding a game is to actually have connection, the pings, making sure everyone has a great connectivity. But the thing is, in Ground War, I have found that going up against people like you is kind of rare. I'm usually going up against first prestigers, second prestigers, things like that, and they have KDs like 1 to 1.5, so I mean, it's not like we're getting put up against tryhards every game, putting up against like full parties of non-stop tryhards. We are going up against some tryhards every so often, but they're split up and they don't have that party to actually back them up and do well. I mean, yeah, they might try going for the objective to try and win that game, but because they do not have that backup, they're unable to do it. And usually I'm running with a team of at least 4 to 7 people, and by having those people, we know what to do. If we need to take an objective, we can do so, and it helps to control the game a whole lot more. On this map, we actually controlled this game very well. I think we actually wanted to kind of take it out as long as we possibly could, and we ended up doing that. because we didn't reach that 200 point, we actually ran the timeout, and it's kind of a cool thing to be able to do that, because I know I was getting close to the nuclear medal. I didn't know how close I was to getting it until like the very end, when I started seeing like the unstoppable medal. And right here is where you see the nuclear medal come up, but the unstoppable medal is what you get after the nuclear medal, when you are still killing the enemy team and you haven't died. It would be kind of cool if they had like a medal or player card to go up like every 5 to 10 kills after that 30 kill mark, because you've got to admit, getting 30 kills with your gun without dying is something that is very, very difficult to do. And I've only had one friend to actually do it, and he's in this gameplay, and you've actually been able to see his player card a couple times of the nuclear player card, which is pretty cool. And it's very difficult. I've had a couple friends who are getting close. They keep getting killed like 1 or 2 off, but it's something that is a really cool achievement to actually get. It's really like the Moab or MW2 Nuke. It's something very similar. You don't get the reward, but at least you have the ability to say, I was able to get that 30 gun kill streak without dying, and I've got this awesome player card to prove it. And that's something that I'm probably going to keep on my player card from now on. I know in Modern Warfare 3, when I had like the #1 stunner player card within the first couple hours of the game from killing people with stuns, it's something that I tried to rock for the rest of the time of the game, and I think I'm going to do that with this nuclear player card, as you see right here on the right next to the brutal killer emblem, and down here to the bottom right is the actual nuclear medal. And I hope y'all guys enjoyed this. It's one of probably my better gameplays that I probably will have throughout all of Black Ops 2. Now, 2 videos you probably missed. The one on the left is how to destroy a Dragonfire easily, and the video on the right is my flawless ground war TDM game on drone. A link to my Twitter will be down in the description in case you want to follow me or get into open lobbies. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Other than that, peace out.